Peak Design doesn't just make bags. They consistently solve problems that photographers and travelers didn't even know they had. Join me as we figure out what problems the 30-liter travel backpack solves for. If you don't know Peak Design yet, they are a Kickstarter legend. Started in 2011 when founder Peter During was traveling for months across the globe and realized just how much of a pain in the ass it is to carry camera gear, clothing, all that stuff in your bag. He's a civil engineer by trade. He came back, quit his job, and launched what was the first Peak Design Kickstarter, which is the capture clip, which if you've never used is an awesome little gadget that attaches to just about any backpack with a Arca Swiss plate on the bottom. So you can just basically attach your camera to the outside of your bag and keep it in front of you. So if you need it, just pop it off, start taking your pictures and clip it back on. Super easy to use. And this was a remarkable Kickstarter campaign. It raised over $350,000 and created the brand that we all know and love today. Now, one of my favorite things about Peak Design is their overall ethos. They are a 100% crowdfunded company. They don't have shareholders or investors. They do have investors. They have customers who are diehards, who they listen to regularly and release products for that community. Now, this 30-liter travel pack is the evolution of their travel gear. They started with a 45-liter travel pack and wanted to make something a little bit lighter, a little more nimble and agile that you could wear on your back really, really easily. So let's talk about this one specifically. This is in the X-Pac Coyote, which you can see X-Pac design here. And this Coyote color from Peak Design is honestly one of my absolute favorite colors, if you will, or like ways that Coyote in particular has been presented. You've seen it on a few of my other bags. I do love Coyote just generally, especially with black accents. That brown and black contrast I just find to look really nice. And in all honesty, Peak Design does do it the best. I love the X-Pac because it is just a lighter weight material. It doesn't absorb water. It's very water resistant, abrasion resistant, super tough material while maintaining a exceptionally lightweight. Now this one in particular, you can see expands. I've got it expanded in this mode. So right now it's sitting at about 33 liters. When it's collapsed fully, even though it's called the 30-liter backpack or travel backpack, when it's collapsed fully, it is 27 liters. So they basically split the difference there between the 27 and the 33, labeling it the 30-liter backpack. Now for its size, it is really light. If you watched my video last week, I reviewed a leather backpack, which honestly like almost half the size of this. It is much smaller, around 20 liters. And they weigh about the same. This is about 3.2 pounds. That was about 3.5 pounds, right? So not disparaging that bag by any means, but just to show you how lightweight the material is here. It is really exceptionally lightweight overall. The harness system, everything really just adds, or I should even say removes the weight from the bag so that it feels really nice and light on your back. And lastly, if you're familiar with Peak Design, they always use proprietary zips. So they have these, what they call ultra zips here. Super smooth to use, these ultra zips. They are really well designed. And when you see them, if you look at the top here, just show, right? If you look at the top here, you see that they're kind of flat on the edges. So they close almost as close as you can make it basically, right? So one of my favorite design features of basically all the Peak Design backpacks is that ultralight zipper or that proprietary zipper that they use. All right, let's talk about what I love about this bag. First and foremost, this is the Underseat champ. It is for the size and how much you can pack out. Right now, I have it in 33-liter mode. I've got 5 days worth of clothing in here, an extra pair of shoes, a blanket, travel blanket, and my camera inside of a little pouch with my toiletries, right? And some of my extra gear in here, right? So super packed out, fits underneath the seat so well. Especially in the 27-liter mode, you have no problems. It fits under seats that some of my 20-liter backpacks struggle with because they're so much thicker, or they have oddities. This is so slim and it has these sleek edges everywhere. It makes it such that it just slides underneath seats. It is fantastic if you don't think you're going to be getting that overhead space. Now in 33-liter mode, like I said, it is super slim. This is what it looks like on me. This is, again, fully packed out, has about 5 days worth of clothing in it. It is incredibly slim on the back, which is super nice as you, again, are just walking through airports or train stations or anything, and you're really trying to be nimble. This definitely helps and adds to how you can maneuver in really busy areas. What's the second thing I love about this, and I have already mentioned it just a little bit, is this iron-clad weatherproofing. Between the X-Pac material, the way the zips actually close together, and there's basically all double zips, you can always leave them off to the side. These are AquaGuard zippers. Functionally, nothing really gets wet. I've been caught in some pretty rough downpours. Of course, not for like 30 minutes or anything, right? Pretty rough downpours for 4 or 5 minutes until I found some shelter. None of my stuff was wet. Had no issues with my laptop or any of my tech gear, no issues with any of my clothing. So just absolutely ironclad weather sealing. And you can even see it here. The material they used for the expansion isn't just some random other material, right? It is the same X-Pac material, just adding to that weatherproofing. Third thing I love, and this is a little bit of an odd one, but it is all the handles on this thing. So you've got a top one here, you've got a back one here, you've got an under one here, and then on either side, you've got a side handle that you can grab, which basically turns this into like a wonderful bag to just kind of toss around as needed, right? Of course, if you got more tech in it, you're not going to want to literally toss it around, but you can fit it in nooks and crannies. You can maneuver it in any way that you want. So they've really prioritized that ability, which I love. Now, let's get into the inside of the bag, which is, again, just a joy to use, right? When you use a bag like this, you kind of understand exactly why it's a joy, but let's get into the inside. We'll start at the front here, and I'll just go on the down view. So fold this over. It's just about this portion of the bag here, right? So really just the top here. But as you can see, tons of stuff that you can fit in. Has different slip pockets across the backside here. Got a pair of headphones, wallet. Didn't put anything in here, but I imagine you put a pen, a knife, something like that in here, and a power brick. Just in front of that, this portion's like the camera tech kit, if you will, or the camera tech area. So if you look at the way the pockets are distributed, what I have in here is just a few more cables, right? I'm using this as my overall tech kit. You see all of these miniaturized slips here. I just have a little converter. These miniature slips here, these are all for little camera knickknacks, right? So memory cards or inverter cards, sometimes smaller batteries are gonna fit in these little areas, right? Really just trying to get you some of that quick tech that you might need if you're using your camera, if you've got it out and you wanna have a few things lined up here so that you can just kind of swing, get your stuff, swing it back on your back. All right, swinging around to the inside of the bag, you basically have one major opening to the inside of the bag, which is this main compartment area here. You got the double zip across here, and then when you open it up, see you've got really all the space, everything you need. First up, we'll talk about the back panel here, which is a pretty simple compartment. Overall, has a Velcro sleeve, which is padded. It's not like super padded or anything, right? But it's got a nice little padding here. It's also lifted up off the bottom. So it is suspended for any laptop or extra tablet carry. I've got 13-inch MacBook in here, MacBook Pro. Fits perfectly in there, no issues. I would say probably easily accommodates at least a 16-inch laptop. And then on the inside here, now that there's no laptop in here, I can fold it. On the inside, there is another slip here, which I found to be super useful. Easily fits my large Remarkable tablet, fits an iPad in there if you need to, or another type of tablet in there if you need to. Obviously depends on the size. It is a smaller compartment, so when you're looking at it, it actually only goes to about here, right? So it's not going across this whole width. So it is going to be a little bit more limiting in how you can use it, but really nice that you can fit 2 different larger tech items in this nice suspended compartment. All right, moving to the actual main part of the bag now, the main compartment. We'll see how I packed it out. So I'm gonna take a couple of these larger items out to start. First off, like I said, have a blanket here. This is just like a travel blanket from Gravel Travel. If you know, you know. This thing is awesome. Highly recommend. That's all I'll say. Next, and this is my camera here. So this is just a simple Matador camera cube, I guess is what they call it. I'd have to look up, I don't remember, I bought this years ago on Taylor Weldon's recommendation. Love that guy. Has a nice little extra zipper in the back here, expandable, great for camera carry, especially if you want to go a little bit lighter. But I only have my point and shoot in here, so just opens from the top. I've got my Leica in here. Nice, easy point and shoot, small enough to fit in most bags. Of course, you definitely want to protect it. This isn't ideal considering how packed out the bag is overall, but that's part of why I leave it at the top. It's part of why I would likely be sliding it a lot on its back, not on its front, because I really just want to use all of the padding that I can when I'm protecting this. All right, now we're getting into a little bit more of the nitty gritty here, if you will. So Peak Design cube. Really nice. One of my favorite things about these Peak Design cubes, they have these little pull tabs, which you can just open. So I have this packed out with 1 pair of socks and a couple of long sleeves, a couple of white tees. Again, I've got 5 days worth of clothing in here, so you'll see exactly how I pack that out. These packing cubes are great at making it easier to stuff more stuff into your bag. All right, under that, we start to get into a little bit more of what I packed out, just like a simple extra belt. My toiletries kit, also Peak Design Coyote, fantastic little kit. Just under that, I've got this, or next to that, I've got this Boundary Supply packing cube. Now, I really like this one because of the mesh on the side. Also has a little laundry compartment on the back. The Peak Design one also does have a nice little laundry compartment. But functionally, right, like any of these packing cubes, this inside of it right now has a pair of pants, pair of shorts, multiple, basically every single one of the shirts that I would want to wear. Let's call them like exterior shirts. So I had the white tees in there and some of the over shirts, the sweaters in there, long sleeves. These are all the t-shirts that I might wear, a couple of button downs, a pair of shorts, as well as a pair of sweatpants if I wanted to wear them at night or go work out or whatever. And just under that, I have a pair of Tecovas leather shoes. Of course, you can see I've got my socks stuffed in here just to keep the form of these more than anything else, but also a great little packing hack if you're struggling for space sometimes. Packing stuff inside your shoes or your extra pair of shoes, really nice. Now, this is where we start to get into this place where the Peak Design bag, the travel backpack, really shines. So if you look at the pocket distribution here, you've got one larger mesh pocket here, also fairly large mesh pocket here, but not taking up too much of the space that you would also take from that front compartment, that exterior compartment. And then you have 2 side compartments here, each with a stitched portion. So it divides this into one larger slip and one smaller slip. Now, if you know me, you know more than anything that I love distribution in a bag. So when I look at this and I see how this distributes out, warms my heart overall, right? I can put things on the side of the bag, keep things on the front of the bag, keep things elevated to the top of the bag, and then just pack it out from there. So functionally, just really nice design on the interior of this bag. Last thing that I did stuff in here, and I didn't really pack out any of the rest of this, is I just put my 5 pairs of underwear all in here, just stuffed them directly in this one. Of course, I could have stuffed more tech in these pockets, more socks or something in these pockets, right? Could have done quite a lot with the interior pocketing, but given what I was carrying, it just made a little more sense for me to put these in packing cubes, make sure I had my camera in its own cube, and then just throw a couple of my extra accessories on top. Now let's move on to things that I think they could improve for the next version. And the first one actually starts on the back of the bag. This harness system and this back paneling, like I said earlier, right? Like it's super light. They made these choices so that it is super light. I totally understand that. They've done what they can to make it as comfortable as possible. These are probably thick enough-ish. I wouldn't mind if they were a little wider, so they sat a little bit more on the shoulder. They cut in just a little bit, especially as the bag is really packed out. Secondarily, this is just not sufficient padding. I don't know how to show this overall, but this, for a heavy bag, especially something I know I'm gonna be walking quite a lot with, maybe when I get to my destination, I'm gonna dump the clothes, I'm gonna put more tech in and carry a maybe more dense load. Something's gotta give with this. There's gotta be a better way to do it than this. Honestly, my back was just like sweating when I was wearing this last, and I used it as my daily carry when I got to my destination. Now, it was great in the sense that I had a lot of my stuff. I was carrying lots of camera gear. There was no issue in that sense, but it just didn't feel comfortable for most of the day, right? Like, it's great to have your stuff with you. It's better to have your stuff with you in a bag that you feel like you can carry throughout the day without any limitation. So I would just say, if there's ways to improve this, if there's ways to make this thicker, if there's ways to make an air channel, or maybe make it mesh altogether, I would love to see some innovation on the harness. I challenge Peak Design on this. You guys are innovators at heart. Clearly, everything you make is a little unique to the market. This is your next move, please, for me and the other travelers. Second thing that I want to talk about, and this is another thing that I would just prefer if there was some improvement on, right? There's really only one external pocket. There's another one right back here, but I found it to be completely useless. There's no form to it. It's not really that big. You can fit a credit card in there. Maybe something for RFID safeness. Fairly useless overall. This one, very useful. Love this pocket. I would love if there was something else, right? There's 2 water bottle pockets. I don't think you need 2 water bottle pockets most of the time. I know it's so that you can carry a tripod and potentially a water bottle. There are so many straps. There's so many other ways to carry tripods. I would love to see pocket off to the side on one of the sides, right? Side zipper, little slip, quick access pocket of some kind, or maybe even along the front here, right? I know that there's some dimension being taken from the inside on the front. Love that. But like, again, lots of real estate here. And right now, all this real estate is basically being used for access to these straps that you can tie on here, strap on here, which are nice for sure. It's a nice add-on, and they are really nice straps, thoughtful add-on. It's just not that useful, right? I don't always want to strap a jacket or something to the back, or a skateboard or whatever else you might strap here. These are really useful if I'm strapping a tripod on one side for sure. On a lot of their other bags, they kind of exist inside the water bottle compartment. I would love to see something like that, and then turn this front portion or some of it into some other pocket. I think that would be really nice as an addition to just, again, have maybe 1 to 2 additional exterior pockets that add their own usefulness. All right, so who is the 30-liter Peak Design travel backpack for? I would say it's for anybody who's that minimalist one-bag traveler. As you can see, it can easily fit multiple days worth of clothing, plus some tech gear inside. So great for that one-bag traveler. If you can deal with that harness system, of course, as well as somebody looking for the versatility of just a great secondary bag for travel, right? So if you want to use a duffel, you want to use a wheeled bag of some kind, use this as your secondary. Maybe you're carrying, again, lots of camera gear or something like that. Fantastic secondary bag, especially because you can dump it and collapse a little bit. So super versatile when you're on the road. You can use it as a daily carry. You can use it as an extended travel bag. Tons of versatility with the 30-liter travel backpack. Who should skip the 30-liter travel backpack? Now, if you are somebody who's a tech enthusiast and you want all the tech reorganized and overbuilt distribution into your bag, I think this is probably one that you're going to pass on. Not because you can't put a ton of tech in here. You can put any of those Peak Design camera cubes in here, right? It is made to convert into a tech bag, if you will. But just because it can convert into it doesn't mean it's ideal for it. I can probably think of at least 10 other bags that are better tech bags. A couple of them from Peak Design, right? Are better tech bags for everyday carry than the travel backpack. Let me know what you think of the 30-liter travel backpack in the comments below. If you've got other travel backpacks that you want me to explore, maybe compare this one to, definitely drop that in the comments as well. And while you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, get notified to new videos from your boy. They will continue to come out every week. I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.